This is just a sample of the audiobook. To get the complete audiobook, access the link posted in the first comment.
In late November 1870, the French statesman and politician Adolphe Thiers visited Vienna and urged Baron Friedrich von Beust, the Austro-Hungarian chancellor, that Europe should mediate in the Franco-Prussian War. Beust replied, "I do not see Europe any more." And it's not difficult to see what he meant. By 1870, the Europe into which Beust had been born 61 years before had changed beyond recognition. Less than 5 years previously, Prussia, by force of arms, had smashed the German Confederation. Its oldest member, Imperial Austria, had been thrown out, and some lesser members she had ruthlessly seized and made into Prussian provinces. 23 northern states were gathered into a new federation led and controlled by Berlin. Now, with the aid of this geographically limited, though much more closely knit and powerful Germany, Prussia was victoriously concluding another gigantic test of strength, this time with France. France, who had dominated European affairs since the days of Louis XIV, and who, under the first Napoleon, had overrun the continent, was at last brought low, single-handedly, by the new German Empire. In the past, France had been able to exploit, in the interests of her own security, the differences among the various German states. She was now faced, if she was to work her way out of the isolation in which the unhappy ending of the Franco-Prussian War had left her, with the necessity of looking for support outside Germany, support against the united Germany, with whom alone she felt unable to cope. The Franco-Prussian War has long attracted the interest of historians. As Sir Michael Howard has pointed out, it's unlikely that any war, the First World War not excepted, has been the focus of such concentrated attention in proportion to its duration. A bibliography compiled as early as 1898 could list 7,000 titles, and the flood was to continue unabated for at least another generation. The last 40 years have, however, been another matter. No book on a subject that seemed for so long to preoccupy historians, and that was to form the foundation upon which not a few of their careers were built, those, for instance, of Albert Sorel and Barthélemy Edmond Palais in France, Federico Chabod in Italy, Heinrich von Seibel, Richard Fester, and Jochen Dietrich in Germany, and Robert H. Lord in the United States, to name only the most outstanding, has appeared in English since Bismarck, the Hohenzollern candidacy, and the Origins of the Franco-German War by Lawrence D. Stiefel appeared in 1962. What started as a flood became, in the years after 1940 or thereabouts, first a current, then a stream, then a rivulet, and finally a dry creek. The present work is an attempt to break the clouds. Its aim is to tell a story, and to tell it in chronological order, to provide a detailed view of the diplomacy that culminated in the outbreak of the Franco-Prussian War in July 1870, and to do so with a sense for the essential drama that this process involved. Like the history of the last spasm of anarchy before the foundation of the Roman Republic, the period dealt with here would be of commanding interest simply because of the personalities of the actors on the political stage, even if the tale of their action had, to all intents and purposes, signified nothing. Each of the outstanding figures on the opposing sides, Napoleon III and Otto von Bismarck, is a fascinating subject of psychological study in his own right, each of them piquantly different from his enemies both abroad and at home, and the encounter between the two was the epitome of epic confrontation, at close quarters, of striking personalities. A single volume discussing the events recounted here may fill the gap in the literature addressed to this subject, and it's in this spirit that I have the temerity to offer the present work. The book brings together the fruits of various researches in order to address a series of questions to which, in the recent literature, no fully satisfactory answers have been found.